smoke's cleared out. It's really pretty. Check it out.
I was going to ask if you got it.
Yeah, I had to go, and she was filming herself and flipped the camera. She was talking about.
You got it on both of them?
Yeah, she was talking about how mellow the trip is going to be, and then I had to slam the brake.
How mellow was that, huh? That was a huge moose, it looked like.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been.
And I had the GoPro going on slow speed, so it's going to be perfect.
Awesome. I had a time lapse on ours, so we got it coming out of the woods and everything from behind you. So it should be cool. This is a cool place here.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Rick. Don't mess with my arms.
Huge thing that was sitting up, but I didn't see that. So where did we park? Where did we come in? Here?
So we're parked right there.
Cool place. Not sure about that. Sure.
This room used to have a pool table in it, and in high school we would come out here and have fun and play pool. Yeah, it's all changed quite a bit for sure. At dinner we decided to stake out the campgrounds around here. They're $20 a night, so we're walking around looking for a good spot for the night. They have an upper and a lower. So here they are, checking it out. After a little exploring, we decided on spot number 11. Just a little walk back here and collaborated, decided what we wanted. $20 a night, you can't beat that.
Well, we could.
Well, you could, it'd be free.
But
This has a fire pit and it's right next to everything.
couldn't help it.
Like a babe. What's happening?
Creating electricity. Oh, come on.
Oh yeah, this is the really, really hot one. 6 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, 6 Fahrenheit and 70 Celsius.
156 Fahrenheit.
Oh.
Wow. Burns your sunburn.
Does it? That's good to know. Pretty warm.
Great place to get a massage. Lynn is enjoying that. Well, today was unexpected for sure. We didn't know where we were going to stay tonight or what we'd be doing, and ended up here at the hot springs, which turned out to be beautiful. This campground is really quiet. For $20 a night with 2 of us here, it's been worth it.
Went in the hot springs, relaxed a little bit, chilled out, told stories, had a good time.
It's funny, I told them that we'd be tired afterwards, and they're like, well, we'll sleep. No. I said, we'll sleep good tonight, and they said they always sleep good. And then afterwards, they're like, I feel like Jell-O. And we all feel like Jell-O right now.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty tired. Having a great time sitting and talking and just catching up. But yeah, I think it's time to say goodnight. And tomorrow, I don't know. No idea what we're doing tomorrow.
Head somewhere else.
Yeah, I think we should find another river. That was fun. I think Embro would be happy about that. What do you think? Hmm? You got cottonwood on your nose. Oh, yeah. Rivers? Oh, yeah. Say hi. Say hi.
Almost.
Yep,
She got that thing to chase it, go around the tree.
Okay.
The Ember's going, what's going on out here? What'd my Maggie do? What'd Maggie do? Do you need help, Maggie? Look at that.
That's adorable.
What's going on, Maggie? What did I miss out on? I was asleep.
Look at her little forehead, that's all.
Hey, sweetheart.
It's
Hey,
okay.
sweetheart.
Go to sleep, Ember.
Aww. Looks like she's got a little hat on or something.
Hello. What are you up to? An itch? Look what I can do. I can scratch my own back.
Ice Museum. Upon exiting that set of doors over there, you may notice that large workshop over there. It's where our world-famous sculptors Steve and Heather Bryce, who are over there right now. That's where they do all their sculpting here for this museum. That is also where they do the maintenance of said sculptures. That's also where they carve their signature ice martini glasses that we serve here at the Aurora Ice Bar behind me. And when they make them, they take about 35 to 40 seconds to make, and they make about 200 to 300 a day. Considering we are in the off season during the summertime, they're here only 3 to 4 days out of the week, but during the winter at our peak, they're here just about every day hard at work. Steve has been sculpting for about 30 years and Heather for over 20, and over the span of those 30 years, they have won over 26 World Championship ice sculpting competitions. All of the tools that you see on display in the ice workshop over there are actually made by Steve himself. So if you ever want to go toe-to-toe with Steve in an ice sculpting competition, chances are you will be using his tools, and you will be very familiar with them. Opposite from the workshop on the other side, you may have noticed it on the way in, or you will notice it on the way out. We have those large clear ice blocks. We actually make those in the same administrative building where the activity center is located. We do that using a filtering process with our water pumps, where the pumps are continuously pushing the water and freezing it at an incredibly slow rate from the bottom up. And that's how we manage to get them to be so clear. That's partially as to how we're able to encase the flowers that you see on display in the museum inside of those blocks. And with the exception of those cherry blossoms by the wall over there, all of the flowers that you see on display in the Ice Museum here are real. Also wanted to point out that peacock over there by the wall. There's another one next to the door that you might catch on the way out. I get particularly impressed every time I see that sculpture, considering Heather was challenged to do that in only 1 hour.
Wow.
So feel free to check that one out later if you want to. I don't know about you folks, but if I were given that time frame and those tools, chances are it'd look more or less like how it started. Maybe only a little different with a jig here or two. So, beyond there, kind of hard to miss. It's about 63 tons of ice up there. It's what we refer to as our Great Wall of Chena. If you look up top, it may appear as if the ice is nothing, but that is not the case. That is merely the act of sublimation doing its dirty work upon all the ice that you see here in the museum. And when that occurs, the ice is going from its solid state, skipping the liquid state, and evaporating directly into the air as a gas. Unfortunately, happens to all the sculptures here, but fortunately enough, Steve and Heather are full-time workers here. They're constantly maintaining the sculptures, making sure they look as clear and pristine as possible, despite them sublimating. And then right next to the wall over there, we have that face over there that we refer to as the face, conveniently enough. And originally it was more of a Mardi Gras mask. It had a nose ring attached to it, and from the nose ring it had a chain hanging from it going towards the rear of its head. It also had feathers up atop its head. It was originally about twice the size of what you see there, and it also had a large facial tattoo as well. But due to a break-in a few years back, it was unfortunately one of the pieces that had gotten damaged in the process, and has not been the same ever since. Next to the face over there, we have that figure standing over there that we refer to as our Chena de Milo. The reason for that being is that Steve and Heather actually hold a workshop for ice sculpting here during the winter season every so often. And a few years back, a couple of military officers had joined the workshop and created that piece over there. The story goes, however, is that after they had went about finishing it, and then they decided to move it, one of them had accidentally dropped it. So the arms came off. It was a very tragic moment indeed. You may notice a recurring theme here in the Ice Museum, unfortunately. With that being said, as a result of that dramatic moment, they decided to leave it out in the sun to melt. But the owner of Chena Hot Springs, Bernie Carl, had seen it, fell in love with it, decided to take it and put it right here on display in the museum. You may also notice those large cuts on her torso and where her arms are located. That's where Steve and Heather do the maintenance on that particular sculpture in parts. And you may notice that on the other sculptures that are on display here as well. Considering that the arms are more delicate, they are more subject to sublimation at a more rapid rate, so they have to be replaced more often than not. But occasionally they remove the arms completely in remembrance of the original piece, which I find to be kind of funny. And depending on what time of year you're here, her positions and proportions change every so often as they do redo the sculpture throughout the year, so every time you visit it's a little different every time. Past the tower over here, we have this piece that we refer to as the joust. So this replica is based off an original piece that was made for a competition that Stephen and a few of his buddies had entered in 1996. The original piece was about 3 times the size of this, and it took about 5 days and 800 hours of work. And at the end of the day, it had second place to a giant ice dragon. But the guests who were at that competition, to my knowledge, tend to remember this piece a lot more fondly and a lot more accurately than said dragon. Obviously, it's been more recently maintained, but the reason why I want to bring that up is that the Ice Museum was originally created in 2004 and was completely made of ice. Naturally, that didn't last very long once the summertime heat came rolling along. So in 2005, they decided to form this structure, the only one of its kind, this freezer that we're standing in. And some of the ice that you see on display here in the Ice Museum has not been touched since 2005. So that horse's head in the back over there is about 14 years old. And chances are, the more sublimated the piece is, the older, the longer it has been untouched. So, feel free to also take a look at the orbs that are on display down there and throughout the Ice Museum. They are individually crafted by Steve and Heather using specialized drill bits. They're very intricate and very pretty to look at, in my opinion. Next to the joust over here, we have our Jaguar. So this piece is also based off an original that was made for a competition that Stephen entered. And originally, instead of there being 2 gargoyles up top, there were 9. They were in a circular formation with their tails meeting at the center to form a dome. And underneath the dome was the Jaguar on top of a spiral floor pattern, very reminiscent of Alice in Wonderland's rabbit hole. So it was kind of an abstract play on the Roman Gothic style, a little bit of an Alice in Wonderland twist. And overall, it's a very playful piece. But this particular piece that we're seeing on display here in the Ice Museum was actually part of something greater that we used to have here. And essentially, we had a large ice chessboard where the individual pieces were different Alaskan animals that guests were able to freely pick up and move around. And essentially, yeah, people would just play a large-scale version of chess with those pieces, but due to the difficulty of maintaining said pieces with them being constantly touched and the sublimation constantly occurring, we just left this here in remembrance of that original idea of what once was. And then over here, we have our chapel. So after the structure was completed in 2005, shortly after in 2006, Steve and Heather got married here. We still hold weddings to this day, so if you or anyone you know is interested in getting married here, we'd be more than happy to arrange that for you. Just ask anybody at front desk or activities and we'll get it done for you, no questions asked, and it's it. But no wedding is complete without a honeymoon, folks, which is why we do offer rooms here at the Ice Museum. So back there is our world-renowned ice hotel. There are 4 rooms in total back there, each with their own distinct theme and distinct look. And for the measly price of $600, you too can stay the night. Included with that price tag is a bed layered with actual caribou fur, a 0-degree sleeping bag, and a fake caribou fur to wrap yourself up in. That I hear is quite nice and cozy, although I myself have not tried it, nor am I sure if I would. We were just being honest. To my knowledge, only 1 or 2 people have actually stayed the entire night back there, as most guests who have stayed at the Ice Hotel 10 o'clock at around 2 or 3 in the morning. Which is why, conveniently enough, with that price tag, we do offer a room at our Moose Lodge outside, which guests usually have a tendency to end up using, considering there are no bathrooms here. That proves to be pretty inconvenient at 2 or 3 in the morning, as you'd imagine. Surprisingly enough, however, we do get at least 1 booking per month at the Ice Hotel. It's usually a group like a couple or a family, but feel free to break the average if you are interested. Next to the Ice Hotel over here, we have our igloo. Inside of the igloo, you may have already heard it, but we actually have a large playable ice xylophone in there. So if you feel inclined to do so, you can walk right in there and play a tune or 2. Maybe sing or hum something. The acoustics are pretty interesting in there. And next to the igloo over here, we have our large Coca-Cola ice polar bear. To my knowledge, this is an accurate representation of a large standing polar bear. And that's pretty impressive, and also as I stand next to it, increasingly more menacing the more I think about it. We used to have a smaller polar bear cub accompanying this larger one, as they would essentially welcome guests into the igloo, but due to the sublimation that occurred on the cub, it started to look a little strange and deranged looking, so we had to get rid of it completely. And so to close off the tour, folks, as you look up above, you'll notice our grand ice chandeliers. There's about 70 ice crystals on each chandelier, and they are constantly shifting in color to commemorate the northern lights that you see here in Alaska during the winter season. So if you don't end up catching the northern lights while you're here, you may just have to settle for these. Unless you come back, of course, which you're always more than welcome to do so. So folks, this is more or less the end of the tour. If anybody purchased any appletinis, I will be waiting at the Aurora Ice Bar ready to serve drinks. But feel free to walk around and explore as much as you'd like and take as many pictures as you'd like. And thank you all so much for joining me on this tour.
Thanks. Yeah.
It's a little different than Miami.
Yeah, only a little. I'm just here to escape the heat mostly.
Whisper into it. Hold it up to my nose. Whisper my wish into it. Okay. Shh. Nobody can see. It's a long wish.
Yay!
Ready to do yours? Make a wish.
Hey, yours left a little bottom on it.
Kaylin's turn.
Take care, folks.
Hi.
Shoot at me.
I was trying to figure out where to throw it where.
That's so cool.
Saying goodbye to Owen and Lynn was not easy. I've only known them for 2 days. Jim has spent the past week with them, right? And every day they were just joking that their entire Alaska experience has been spent with Jim, showing them around, and 24/7 with some really, really amazing people.
Sad to say goodbye, but it's not goodbye. We'll see them again before they leave Alaska. So we just had a really good time together and told lots of stories. And we edited videos together, took advice from each other, and it's been fun. It's been a learning experience and really amazing people.
Yeah. Very. You know when you meet people and you immediately know that you like them and you have stuff in common. And, they're headed north to Dalton and we're going to be headed south back home. We're going to take a stop up here, have some lunch, and then I think we're going to head up to Fairbanks probably for the night and spend 4th of July there. Start heading back south tomorrow.
Go to Pioneer Park, maybe.
Alaska Land. And, you know, we'll explain the history behind Alaska Land, Pioneer Park, because it's a pretty good one. I prefer Alaska Land. We'll show you. You'll see. Okay. It started raining a little bit, both inside and outside, and yeah, we'll talk to you a little bit later.